turn up, yes indeed. Make you call whoever, and do whatever. Look, let's take a ride through my city, where they call the ladies round here pretty. Get us wrong and our attitude borderline shit. Nah, I ain't going there. I'm not going there. Just do me a favor, y'all, and enjoy yourself. Yeah, 'cause all I want to do today is freedom. Get away and take some time.
Welcome everyone. This is Rick the Ruler, as they say, and I have Lauren on my side.
L Boogie.
And L Boogie is her name. We have Jay. Sorry he couldn't make it today. Family situation that he needed to take care of. But welcome everyone. Thanks for watching. We're going to go on things that caught our eyes. Japanese billionaire is giving away money, $9 million, to people on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I'm sad. I hope he would have seen my name if I was. If anyone got any of that money, congratulations. I ain't got none, so that's why I'm sad. But $9 million, he's giving them because he wants people to feel happiness like he feel. So he's just trying to get people through the year. Hopefully, whatever he's giving out, there's no certain amount that he's giving out. He's just hoping it helps. So if y'all got some of that $9 million, thank him. But please give him my name. Tell him to go to Facebook.
Sure.
I definitely need it. I don't care. He give me $10, $20. It'll pay for parking when I'm at work. But we'll accept it. So that's that.
And yesterday, we celebrated MLK.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday was the observance of Martin Luther King. Wasn't his actual birthday, but that was the day that we observed it. Did you do anything for MLK Day?
Well, just like our podcast, I just kept it 100. I had to work, but I celebrate by working. He put in the work for us where we can be able to do the things we do. It's not a perfect system, but it'd have been a lot worse if it wasn't for him. So we definitely appreciate him. We're keeping this dream alive. Without hard-working activists, people who care about people, we'll be in a total worse place than we are now.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the persistence and devotion. So that was definitely greatly appreciated, not just yesterday, but every day.
Yeah, we need a whole year. Our history is a whole year, 365, not just 1 month. So everybody just make your own legacy. Be positive. Help each other. Let's get it. We're going to move on. After that, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We know who's going to the Super Bowl. Jay, welcome to the couch. Yo, Titans, they had a good run, but, they sitting with us. Shout out to San Fran and KC. Congratulations. They're going to be in Miami. I don't know who y'all pick is. For me, if it ain't the Cowboys, I really don't care. I'll watch it, but, hey. So you going to watch Super Bowl? I
am.
Okay. You cooking? Talk to me.
It just depends what my schedule looks like, but I probably will cook.
Okay, save us a plate.
Hey, well, I'll bring y'all a plate.
That's what I'm talking about. We feel motivated.
You always talk about my cooking, and I can't cook.
We ain't say you couldn't cook. We was just trying to figure out, people serve things a little different.
Yeah, this is true.
This
is true.
But I'm open. My stomach is open for suggestions. Bring it on by. We'll knock it out. I'm sure it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So on a sadder note, we got the homeless people in Washington, D.C., where we're at. It's being kicked out from their tent camp.
Yeah, so dozens of homeless forced to leave D.C. Noma tent. I'm not quite understanding that. I mean, they've been there for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that's a permanent residency for anyone, but I just don't quite understand that. Why now? When we're getting ready to go into, frigid temperatures, you don't even have enough shelter for them.
I think it's sad, D.C., we dropped the ball on this one. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes. If you don't have anywhere to go, Shelters now is not really safe. You know, they doing the best they can, and I guess homeless is coming by the hundreds, but it's not safe. You know, I've heard stories that things that goes on at homeless shelters, so they rather take their chances. They feel safer out on the street, out in the opening. You know, I know traffic is coming by where they had their tents at and stuff like that, but we gotta do better. You know, do something with our homeless. We got to do better than what we're doing right now.
Do you think they were just really focused on like the image? You know,
exactly.
Like how it looked?
I've been in D.C. for all my life, and D.C. is not perfect, so let's not paint that image that it is perfect. You know, we have some cracks. We have some things that needs to be fixed, so we need to, Mayor, if you're hearing this, we need to do better than this, because kicking them out is not the answer. Open some more shelters. Put a heating system out there. It's a cold winter, so and it's going to get even colder. So we need to do better than that. You know, that's just my take on it. So,
yeah, I mean, I had somebody comment, Deshere, who said have vans to come and pick them up, but some of them refused to go.
Yeah, because it's not safe in shelters.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at crime, theft, rape, facilities is not clean, so they rather just be outside. They feel more safer. So that's another issue we can fix. You know, make sure the homeless shelters is up to code.
A little more safer.
Yeah, you know, because if I felt going to some place where I can be raped, something be stolen, and you know, people coming there with their kids.
Yeah.
So would you really want to stay there, or would you feel safer on the street?
I probably would feel safer on the street in my tent, or, you know, whatever I have made my little home.
Mm-hmm. True.
So I definitely would probably feel safer there. So if somebody came to get me, I probably would turn it away too. Or, or decide to stay where I'm comfortable.
Because we heard the stories, they live in the stories. So that's probably one of the reasons why they don't want to go. I mean, you got to be, it really has to be bad for you to want to stay outside than to come in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's definitely, Mayor, if you hearing, if anyone know the mayor, reach out. She can get us on our podcast, you know, come in and talk. We really need to definitely fix that. We're coming in and do some hard labor too. We ain't afraid of the work. We keep it 100, baby.
Yeah, definitely not afraid of hard work. So we be more than willing to help.
Definitely that. So we're going to cut to break. We have a very, very important issue. You know, we like to joke around on this show, but we definitely try to cover all bases. There's some things that's serious that touches our hearts that we need to get out to the public and to the viewers. So we're going to be discussing bullying. So we're going to take this 30-second break, and we will be back with me and Elle. We have guest panels. We have people Skyping in. It's going to be a hell of a show. Stay tuned.
Still be there. It's one day or two. Wanna do, enjoy myself, enjoy myself for me. Give me the beat. some bubbly with my bestie, watching Netflix or TV. The definition of grown and sexy is just go with me. I grab my baby Nate and my bae. Let's go on a shopping spree. Friends and family, all I need. 'Cause all I want to do today is free my thoughts and get away. Take some time for me today. BS and drama free. It'll still be there. Whether it's one day or two. But right now all I wanna do is enjoy myself, enjoy myself, enjoy myself for me. I got gas in my tank, money in the bank. I give the man thanks. Turn up the crank. Blackwell coming through my stereo.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going? Like I said before, we're talking about bullying in the schools, whether you're in school, out of school, or whatever, and what cause and effects that it has on the kids, adults. Don't think adults can't get bullied, because they can. So we have a panel. We have people Skyping in. I'm going to let Elle
Yes.
introduce everyone.
So we have our special guest, Mrs. Jerika Roberts. She is a teacher in Baltimore City Public Schools at Falstaff.
Thanks for joining us.
At Falstaff Elementary Middle School, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, so Jerika is going to be joining us today as we talk about bullying.
Mm-hmm.
But before we jump into our conversation and questions for Jerika, I wanted to just highlight these shirts here. So I had made these shirts, or had these shirts made some time ago, and this was just in lieu of my little cousin who has experienced a bullying incident at school. So we went to a couple of events, and every time we went to those events, they wore these shirts. So these were the Buddies Not Bully shirts. So they proudly wear those and continue to still wear those until this day at school.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I wanted to touch on before we loop Jerika in, have you ever experienced any bullying growing up as a kid, Rick?
Not really. I was a shy kid, but they knew of my brothers, so they know how we get down. So they know if they mess with me, they mess with the whole family.
The whole family.
So, and moms will come up there and put foots to butt, and she ain't play around. So, but I've seen many of, in school, people getting bullied. So I tried to step in. I even got in a couple of fights, got kicked out of school a couple of times for defending people. I don't think it's right. I don't like it, even to this day. So I haven't experienced it, but I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, so as a child, I experienced it a couple of times. So we had relocated to Tacoma Park, Maryland, which a lot of people from this area probably are familiar with.
TP.
Very close to the district. Very different culture. Coming from a suburban area. So coming from a suburban area, coming to Tacoma Park, which is this little city, I ended up going to elementary school, and the kids were just different. I mean, when I say different, they were rowdy. I mean, just calling each other names. And so my first week there, I had this guy who, you'd be amazed, we are like best friends now. But the first week there, he followed me around. I was outside on the playground, and he just kept calling me all kinds of bitches. I mean, this is a kid who's 9 years old, following me around the playground, calling me a bitch. Okay? Now, I'm 9 years old, so I'm like in shock. Why is he calling me a bitch? What did I do to him? I don't know him. He followed me around, kept calling me names, telling me that he was going to whip my ass. So I was like, okay. Wow. So, of course, I had to report it to the lady who was out on the playground and let her know what was going on. The second incident was also in Tacoma Park. I had a girl who followed me home from school. Again, she was going to cut my hair off. She was going to whip my ass, all of the above. Okay. So at that time, I ignored her, went home, told my mother. That weekend, my mother had told all of my cousins So all of my cousins then came to Tacoma Park looking for this bully. So the whole weekend went door for door looking for this bully. Okay, we couldn't find her. She was nowhere to be found.
Oh.
I get back to school. I get back to school on Monday, and everybody's telling her, yeah, you keep messing with Lauren. Her cousins were looking for you. So at that point, she left me alone. She didn't bother me anymore. But I'm going to tell you, these kids had no rhyme or reason to bully me. Like, I had just started there. I guess I was the new kid on the block.
That's the reason.
So it was like, oh, she stands out, you know. Oh, she has long hair. I'm going to cut her hair off. Just anything. I guess, you know, again, I was fresh meat, you know. So it's like, okay, let me just taunt her and follow her home and make her feel uncomfortable. So, yeah, I've had those experiences as a child, but I've also had adult bullying experiences as well.
Wow. Did you ever get her?
No, we never got her. And you know what? It's crazy because guess what she does now for a living?
What?
She's a teacher. She's a teacher.
So she learned from her mistake.
Yeah, so I guess she learned, you know?
That's a blessing. Yeah.
We hope, yeah.
Do you know what school she at?
I don't.
Because we can go bully her. So I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
I don't know what school she's at, but it's just amazing to me that, you know, now she's a teacher. So.
Shout out to the teachers.
Yeah. So I know we have 3 children with us in the studio today. So we wanted them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 12 years old.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 12 years old.
Hi, I'm Noelle, and I'm 10 years old.
Okay. So tell us what is bullying to you?
I feel like bullying is like picking on people.
True.
I think bullying is like when you make fun of someone for how they look or how they act.
Also true.
I think bullying are like bad things that happen to people, like that happen like every day that go on and on.
Okay. So have you guys experienced any bullies at school?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your bullying experience.
Well, today at school, a kid told me that I had a big forehead, and it made me feel like a little upset. And it's not the first time it's happened, but I just try to keep it to myself because I know I'm stronger than that and I'm not going to cry about it.
Okay.
One thing I saw, there's this kid in my school who has Down syndrome, and people were giving him weird looks and making fun of him, and they were laughing at him. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept quiet.
Okay.
In 5th grade, these like group of kids called me gay for some reason. I don't know why though.
Okay. And so what do you guys have anything at school like a buddy system where you guys are either to comfort or to befriend this person who may be bullied? Is there any system in place at your school?
No.
No? Okay. Okay.
We need to come up to that school.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Say you mess with them, you mess with me.
And what do your teachers do to prevent bullying?
They like tell the counselors
They tell the counselors?
and like the principals.
Okay.
And does the counselors talk to the bullies or talk to y'all?
They talk to both of us at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
That's.
So they come and talk to the student individually?
Yeah.
Okay. With are the parents involved at all? No,
Not
they
really.
just speak to the student?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. So this is something that happens clearly every day, no matter probably what school system it is. But I know I've heard of schools that have a buddy system or have a system where you can befriend a child who's been bullied or being isolated for some reason. But it just sounds like with their school, that's not in place. So we definitely welcome Miss Roberts, and we want to learn more about bullying in the school, what that looks like, just from a teacher perspective, and what the teachers are doing in the school to prevent bullying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first I'll start out and say I was bullied in middle school. Like Lauren, I moved from one area to another area, and sixth grade was a rough year for me, braces and glasses at the same time. So the kids in my new community kind of didn't really want to befriend me because I also talked different than them. So it was definitely an adjustment, I'll say. And sadly, Lauren knows the neighborhood and they were essentially family. So that was difficult. But having been a teacher for the last 12 years in the same school, which is totally unheard of, I find it that a lot of the kids feel comfortable telling me when bullying is happening in the school. For my students this year, we have a social and emotional specialist, wellness specialist in our building who is there to help a lot with the bullying that happens in the school. She works with small groups of students, individual students who have been bullied before, and she did a restorative circle in my classroom.
Let's try to get back. We'll discuss.
Yeah, we're going to try to get Miss Roberts back.
But let's discuss the facts of what we just heard.
So having she mentioned the social and emotional wellness counselor in the school. I definitely, coming from and working in the behavioral health field at one point, I've definitely noticed that is helpful to have a wellness center or a therapist in the school. So, Jerika, we were kind of going over having the social and emotional wellness therapists in the school, the importance of having one.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So she came in and she did a bullying restorative circle where she defined bullying as repeated, rude or mean things happening that on social media. It's not a disagreement, but it's hitting and tripping, because that was a big focus of the bullying incidents at our school were physical. They weren't just emotional or anything like that. One of the students reported that he had been hit on the playground several times, and we clarified and we found out it was indeed a bullying incident that happened. Last year, in fact, some of the boys got together because they saw another student being bullied and made what they called a gang, but it was to combat the bullying that was happening on the playground. So we were happy that they banded together. However, the reaction was not as good, I'll say. From the teacher perspective at my school, we have the social worker who also holds small groups, essentially mediation or counseling sessions with the students. And we also have our school secretary, actually. He formed what we call Fall Staff Bad, Boys Against Destructive Decisions, where he's been working with small groups of boys after school, talking about, what does it mean to be a man, and if you see these things happening, how can you essentially be part of the solution instead of the problem? We also have a group of students who work with the Baltimore City Police Department, working on restorative circles with them as far as bullying and how to stay out of trouble when it comes to bullying, and how to stay out of trouble in general, and how not to be swayed by bullies to join gangs. So those are some of the things happening in my school. We also have a bullying campaign where the students have worked together, bullies and non-bullies, the bullied and the bulliers, to make posters to go around the school to say, hey, instead of being a bully, almost like Lauren's t-shirts, the buddies, not bullies, campaign.
Okay.
So those are a couple of the things that we do at my school. We also systemically have a bullying harassment form that gets filled out by parents or students who feel like they're the victim of a bullying incident, where once it's reported to the school, we have to then input it into the computer system.
Yeah.
And the district office makes phone calls to the Baltimore City Schools Police Department, where they then get together with the two families or however many students involved and have small group mediation sessions on how they can rectify the situation.
Okay.
Gotcha. So do you, with some of these bullies, do you feel like some of these issues stem from home?
Yes. A lot of the times it starts with, oh, haha, we're just play fighting. And then it becomes, oh, well, my mama said, if somebody hit me, I gotta hit them back. And then it's like a constant, like, we call it, sadly, the Mean Girls Club. In my grade, we have a pocket of girls that were trying to change their behaviors because we see it and we're like, this is going to lead further down the road into serious bullying, accusations being brought. And I've even taken it upon myself to sit down with the girls and talk it out with them, because it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, something has to be done. I pulled in parents. Some of the parents have been helpful and responsive. Other ones, not so much.
Right.
But it has definitely come from home a lot. And that's why my school is lucky enough to have the social and emotional wellness counselor this year, because not every Baltimore City school has that this year, where she's been specifically placed in the schools to work with students who have emotional difficulties that might not be affecting their education directly, but it's having an impact on the amount of time they spend in class. She spends about an hour working with the student to essentially help them to easily transition back into the classroom after an incident has happened, where they talk about how to regulate their behaviors, their emotions, and just keep going throughout the day in different situations. And she uses what's the company? Stanford Harmony has little situational cards where you can discuss, like, is this bullying or is this not bullying? Is this an example of someone just having a bad day, or are they legitimately picking on this child over and over again? And does it happen in the workplace? And myself and my partner teacher both acknowledge, yes, it happens in the workplace all the time, and people just don't realize it because we're adults. We're supposed to get over it.
Right.
So it does happen, and we've let the students know it happens all the time. You all probably have seen it happen in the building. Pay attention to what's happening, and you can speak out against that as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. So how does a parent pick up the signs at home that their child may be bullied?
I say if the child is mostly saying that he or she doesn't want to go to school a lot, that might be an indication that there might be a bullying situation, or they might feel like an adult is bullying them at school. Sometimes, depending on how their schoolwork is going, like, they might perform really well. I know for my students, they transition between myself and another teacher every day. But there are certain classrooms in the building that transition between 4 or 5 teachers. And in some teachers' classes, they perform really well. In other classes, not so much. And it might not even be I don't get the content situation. It might just be I am really attacked in this room and I don't feel comfortable, or I don't feel safe in this space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of wanted to go back to the social, emotional, and wellness counselor that you have in the school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's only one person.
Yes.
And how many students are there in this school?
My school this year is about 450, and we're pre-K to 8. And she has, because it's a new role in our school this year, it's been a balance on trying to figure out how to mix her into what we already have going, so to speak. This year has been tough in one of the grades where they have a lot of boys in there, the boy macho men. I'm gonna, show you how tough I am. And it's been hard with her role because she feels like she's essentially the bad behavior room, so to speak. But she has passes that she's given all the teachers where if you have a pass from your teacher and it says, my teacher gave me permission to go see the wellness specialist. And she will do yoga poses with them. There's a giant coloring board. There's a wall full of sticky notes where they can write I am statements, positive I am statements. If they need to take one to remind themselves, they're more than welcome to take one. She has different puzzles, different, again, the situational cards, the squishies, the foam, what's it called? The Orby ball pit thingy.
Yeah.
Where, like, just to de-stress them so that then they're willing to talk. We have a couple of students who go see her regularly. So now, because we are almost halfway through the school year, the students that we've referred to her, now she's then able to schedule them on a weekly cycle to see how they're doing. They know that if there's an emergency and they can't get to me or they can't get to my partner teacher, they can always go to her if she's available.
So is she accessible 5 days out of the week, or is she only there?
Yes.
Okay.
5 days out of the week. That was the one benefit for us having her on staff this year. In the past, we only had a part-time school psychologist and a part-time social worker and a part-time guidance counselor.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And gradually over the years, each of those positions has become full-time except for the psychologist. But between the social worker, the social and emotional wellness specialist this year, and the guidance counselor in the building this year, I feel like in my 12 years at that school, the bullying incidents, although they were fewer in the beginning, I can start to see the decline now because we have so many people in the building that the students can talk to. And again, the secretary being the front line of that with the boys has been a tremendous help. Mr. Kirkland has been awesome with, like, giving them little self-esteem boosters, showing them, gentlemen wear ties, let me show you how to tie a tie. Like basic things that, because a lot of my students in Baltimore City, unfortunately, their fathers aren't at home.
Right.
So just being that positive role model, and then again, with myself being there so long, a lot of the families know me. They feel comfortable with their child coming to me. So if there is an issue, unfortunately, but fortunately, a lot of them have my cell phone number. Right. A lot of them are my Facebook friends. So I'm like, okay, well, you contact me. At least I know there's a way to contact you if there's a serious issue. And I've been contacted, like, Ms. Roberts, I know you run the school Instagram and Facebook. My student has had issues with a couple people taking the pictures that you post on social media and people taking it and putting it on their account saying, I hate this kid, so please don't take any pictures of my child. I'm like, no problem. It's, even though they've signed off saying, yes, you can use my child's picture, but it's just unfortunate. But luckily, there are a lot of us in the school system and at specific schools that have been there and were essentially pillars in the community, so they feel comfortable talking to us.
So it sounds like y'all doing a great job, to try to contain things that's going on in the school. But how involved are the parents?
So oftentimes we have parents who are involved, but for the wrong reasons, I'll say. Sometimes they are the result of it elevating, or the cause of them of it elevating to serious incidents. Sometimes they're very laid back in their approach where, the kids will be kids, and we're like, yes, however, this is starting to be a repeated behavior. Right. So unfortunately, we don't have as much parent buy-in as we would love, but we are definitely trying to increase. And the first step is with opening the doors of the school and saying, parents, come on, we need you. And we've been trying that a lot with just small programs, like one day a week, we give food bags to students, families in need, just to say, hey, we're here for you. Now, please be here for us too.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, and I can detect that some of that obviously comes from the parents. When you mentioned, a parent will actually point out a child in a picture and say, oh, well, I don't like that child. I mean, like, as an adult, really? I mean, you're encouraging this behavior even further because you're singling out a child and saying, I don't like this child.
Yeah. I've even had a couple of parents who they'll come to the room and look in the room like, that's the boy that was messing with my son. And I'm like, Mom, Dad, please take that to the office. This is not the place, and I'm not the one to try with this. I will close my door and lock it in your face. You don't want to come. Those are my babies when they're with me. You bother them somewhere else. But unfortunately, because I do teach in Baltimore City schools, sometimes, although it's not my nature, I've had to man up, so to speak, and take action for my students, because I'm a firm believer that once you're at school, you are my child.
Yeah, it's your responsibility.
I wouldn't want that to happen to my children if I had some in school, so I'm going to take up for you if no one else does.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once they're in your classroom, it's definitely your responsibility.
So, a lot of people don't really focus on the bully, don't know the importance of it, where you have kids going into depression might lead into suicide, where we all have to that's why I was asking about the symptoms that deals with bullying. So I think we all need to keep our eyes on, because all of these kids are our kids. This is our future. So we did what we had to do. We had our fun. It's their turn. So we need to keep our eyes definitely open. And as parents, we have to help the teachers out, because things go on way after school hours, because, kids live in the same neighborhood and stuff like that. So, when I was growing up, when you're on the block, every house that was on that block was your mother, was your father. So a lot of that is missing in neighborhoods. It's just streets now, and it's not neighborhoods, because neighborhoods took care of each other. So, I would like to see more of that in the neighborhoods, and that starts with the parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that a few of the students at the school who have been the victim of bullying incidents, they've even made systems or connections with different families that live in their building, like you said, where the adult comes to pick them up from the building and takes them all home. I've had a couple incidents happen a couple years back where I was the one who was responsible for getting the child in the apartment safely, because they were a latchkey kid technically. But I was asked, Miss Roberts, can you drive this student home, or can you walk the student, so far up the block to make sure they get home safely? And sadly, it's like, I don't get paid for this, but okay, because I would want someone else to do it for my child.
Exactly.
Right. Is there, and I don't recall, but is there security in the school?
No. In Baltimore City, most of the security officers are in high schools and traditional middle schools. Unfortunately, they are far and few between now because of funding and different incidents that have happened. But there are 3 officers that patrol the area of schools that I'm in. And we know them by name, we know them by face. The office has their cell phone numbers. Certain teachers in the building have their cell phone numbers, so that if anything happens, we have someone we can call immediately without calling the Baltimore City Schools police line to get them to dispatch them out.
Gotcha.
So you said a few of them is in the area. How far are the schools to each other? And how quick is the response if something was to happen and you needed them?
5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
they're within close proximity. I mean, I guess with it being a city, then the structure's a little different than being in the burbs.
Yeah.
5 or 10 miles.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I know you had touched on you guys have a counselor, right?
Yes.
Okay, just one?
Yes, we have one guidance counselor, one social worker, and one social emotional wellness specialist.
Okay. So is that guidance counselor, are they trained to deal with bullying incidents?
She is. Unfortunately, because of the nature of her role in Baltimore City schools, she focuses more on the middle school side of it, with support or backup from the school's social worker. And in the elementary half of our school, it's the social worker is the last in line before the principal gets involved, after the wellness counselor.
Okay. Okay.
They got their hands full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a lot to take on. I mean,
Yeah.
even with a guidance counselor, a social worker, and a principal, I mean, still, it's a lot. Because not only are they working with students who may have the bullying incidents, but those who are coping with other maybe undiagnosed disorders that they may be coming to school with.
That's why the parents play a pivotal role in being not only in your child's life, in your child's school. Because, they can really make a difference. They can help out. They can take some of the pressure off the counselors, because most of them, if the parents say something, is it really involved? I remember my mother coming up to the school when I went to D.C. public school, and we had a commons area where we had 3 classes would sit in a big circle before school start. And I did something wrong. My mother came up there, and you talking about I got a beating in front of like 120 kids. And after that, I do my dirt after school.
Yeah.
I was a saint in school. So, but definitely, I can't stress enough that the parents definitely needs to be in these kids' school. Pop up on your kids. Make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
Don't let them know you're coming.
Yeah.
Pop up.
Just pop up, surprise.
Because when they know that you're on the way.
They on their best behavior.
Do the pop-ups. Don't tell the teacher. Well, let the teacher know, because that's just play. But just do a pop-up.
Yeah, because when I was in school, a parent walking the door, we'd be like, "Who parent is that?" And you can find out once she grab you by your neck.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, Rick, because when I was in 2nd grade, I actually was getting bullied by a teacher, not a student. So I had a teacher who would just single me out all the time for whatever reasons. And I kept telling my mother about it. At first she was kind of like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, she singles me out. Like, she has a personal issue with me." Mm-hmm. So my mother came to the school and was watching her through the door. Like, just popped up and was watching her through the door. It was a little glass window. And so after class was over, she had confronted her about, some of those things that she was approaching me with. I mean, I was 7 years old.
Wow.
So, not only is there like bullying from peer to peer, sometimes, there are adults who have issues with children for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Have you came across any issues like that?
I haven't come across any teachers bullying students. Of course, I've seen the students bullying the teachers, the parents bullying the teachers, and the students bullying the students, and other staff members bullying other staff members. But I've never seen the teacher bullying the child. Like, we hear about those cases going through school to become a teacher, but I've never actually seen a case like that.
Yeah, I feel like those scenarios are like the hidden ones, like they're far and few, and sometimes you really won't get to witness them. I mean, most adults are not going to show certain things in front of others. Yeah.
Well,
So one thing that's been beneficial this year also with, I think, cutting down the bullying incidents that's happened is that now we have cameras in our school. We didn't have them for the last 11 years that I've been there.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So the cameras, are these cameras just like in the hallway, or are they in the classroom?
They're only in the hallways, the auditorium, the cafeteria, anywhere where a student would go alone, essentially, with someone else. Unfortunately, they're not in the classroom. I would feel a lot safer sometimes if they were in the classroom, just because of certain parent incidents that have happened inside the classrooms. But as far as in the classroom to watch education, learning happening every day, I haven't seen them in the classroom.
Because we see many of cases on social media where the kid, the class clown, what they might want to call it, attacked the teacher. So I already know I'd be locked up. So like I said, my hat goes off to y'all, because I don't care who kid it is. If I feel threatened, he gonna get it. So
I've been in a couple of those situations where kids almost got there, and I kind of just spaz out, and they're like, "Oh, she's crazy. All right, let me back away." But I've definitely been like, "Let me close my hands, put them under." Because there are a couple times they will test you.
Yeah. That's definitely where those cameras come into play. Yeah. You definitely need those. And so it also goes the other way with you saying that, because not only could it be peer to peer, teacher to student, but it could be student to teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The student will try to bully a teacher.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'd be locked up.
Yeah. So I'm sure you have seen some students probably in the school that have done that to some of the staff that you work with. Definitely.
And it got to the point where luckily I had a parent phone number and the teacher was able to talk to the parent. Other times that I haven't known the student, they've gone to the office or they've walked outside with the child at dismissal time and been like, excuse me, this is the incident that happened with your child. They caught me on a good day. So, like, I've witnessed it, and sadly it does happen, and most people don't talk about that. They always talk about, the teacher put their hands on your child, but what did your child do prior to that?
Yeah, what did the child do to provoke it?
Or unspoken truth, too.
Self-defense is self-defense. If I feel threatened, I got to do what I got to do. I'm trying to go home to my kids.
How about it?
Yeah. So I think, those are the incidents that you see, like, on the news. Where they have cameras in the classroom and you can see, what you see, it looks like the teacher is attacking the student, but it may not have initiated that way. It may not have started that way. I doubt very likely that it started that way.
No. I just keep quiet,
Yeah, so with those cameras, I can definitely see where those may be a necessity.
Yeah.
Like, I know specific teachers in my building who, the wireless routers that are in different classrooms, sometimes I've seen people say, "Oh, that's a camera," just so the kids will stay somewhat calm. And now that they see the camera playback screen in the main office, they're like, "Oh man, that really is a camera in this, in the classroom." We're like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm.
You hear that, teachers? That's a trick of the trade.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Is there anything else that you would like to share in regards to bullying in schools, or anything that you would like to just share with parents that are out there that may be watching?
I would say to parents, bullying is very, very serious. And a lot of the times, waking up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, is taken the wrong way and said, "Oh, my child is being bullied." Make sure you ask your child those clarifying questions. Does it happen every day? Does it happen on the bus every day? Does it happen on the walk to school? Does it happen in the cafeteria every day? Because a lot of the times, kids being kids essentially is defined as bullying, and when you get to the root of everything after the mediation and the peer talks happen, we find out that this just happened this one time, or there was more to the story that your child didn't tell you. So just make sure you ask those clarifying questions at home and talk to your child and ask how their day was and what they did at school today.
Yeah, sometimes I definitely agree with you on that. Just as simple as asking how your day was. You'd be amazed about how many students don't get that at home.
Yeah. I think teachers should start wearing body cameras.
Like PD?
Yeah, man. They gotta do what they gotta do.
Okay, so y'all need Baltimore City Schools needs a body camera coordinator.
Yeah.
I think I can get that job.
Once they started, some proceeds need to go to Rick.
We got you.
Yeah, I take 3%. The rest can go to the school.
Yeah. Well, we thank you so much for your time.
Definitely.
Jerika. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
We thank you for sharing everything with us today, just, about your students and Baltimore City Schools and fall staff. So we appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Your insight was very helpful.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, definitely a different perspective coming from a teacher who teaches in a city school.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. So, and we also want to thank our little young adults over there.
Yeah, we want to thank our audience that we have. So we have Lauren, LaRon, and Noel. So we thank them for coming today and just sharing their bullying experiences with us.
Yeah. So stay constant contact with your teachers and your parents and counselors. So if it's a recurring issue, definitely don't be afraid to talk about it. Let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well.
So we definitely
Wow.
enjoyed the bullying episode today with Mrs. Roberts. That was a wealth of information. So we are definitely going to wrap up until next time.
Yep.
And next time we'll have Jay back with us. So
He will be back.
It'll be the trio the next time.
Talk to him about his Tennessee Titans. Don't forget. Make me proud. And I'm going to comp one of these shirts. You know, one going to disappear. So I do apologize. So
It's a 3X. I don't know if you're going to be able to fit that.
I mean, I wear it. I'm not worrying about the size. I'm worrying about the logo. I want people to see that this
Rick's
is
going to
serious.
drown in one of these shirts, y'all.
It's a serious issue. We definitely need to take care of our kids.
Okay. Until next time.
I'm Rick the Ruler. This is L Boogie. We are Keeping It 100 podcast. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe night.
Now worry about the tights, man. I love my go-go. But back to the story at hand. I'm about to set my plan in motion. I just might scoop my van, drive all the way out to the ocean, do the damn thing, the lickety split. Back to my city, I don't play that shit. I might travel everywhere that I please, but I'm DC till the day that I leave. Oh yeah, I get a text from my peeps, meet me down the creek, lot 15. Let's do something to ignite that spark, like doing it in the park. Because all I want to do today is free my thoughts and get away. Take some time for me today. BS and drama free, it'll still be there, whether it's one day or two. But right now all I wanna do is enjoy myself, enjoy myself, enjoy myself for me. If I could just enjoy myself, so happy to renew my energy. I can't wait to get out and do me. Yeah, y'all know what time it is. Friday, just getting off, 6 o'clock, ready to wind down, turn up, hit some D, make you call whoever, and do whatever. Look, let's take a ride through my city, where they call the ladies round here pretty. Get us wrong and our attitude borderline shit. Nah, I ain't going there. I'm not going there. Just do me a favor, y'all, and enjoy yourself. Yeah, 'cause all